Have you observed those individuals who possess an uncanny ability to influence their surroundings through sheer presence alone, never uttering a single word? These people avoid aggressive outbursts. They refuse to plead or demand. Instead, they choose to step back. In that moment of withdrawal, everything transforms. The atmosphere shifts dramatically. Others begin to wonder, to pursue, to experience profound emotions. Consider what might unfold if you adopted this same approach. If you resisted the urge to respond instantly to every situation, if you selected quietude over automatic reactions, if you chose strategic distance rather than emotional eruption, what transformation do you believe would occur? Here lies the crucial insight. The moment you cease being perpetually accessible, emotionally, physically, and mentally, your surrounding world enters a state of upheaval. This happens because others have grown accustomed to manipulating you through your responses, your spontaneous impulses, your reliable patterns of behavior. Yet when you decide to step away, the entire dynamic transforms. Those who believe they understood your nature discover they comprehend absolutely nothing about your true self. Carl Jung observed that everything which annoys us in others opens a pathway to deeper self-knowledge. Consider this principle. As you become unreachable, which individuals truly become frantic? Who experiences genuine irritation? Who attempts to provoke you simply to extract some emotional response? These reactions expose far more about them than they reveal about you. Most importantly, they illuminate the extent to which you remain under manipulation without conscious awareness. You continue offering yourself to satisfy others, to preserve harmony, to avoid losing individuals who, in reality, were never truly present in your life. Through each reluctant agreement, every instant reply, each emotional outburst, you surrender fragments of your vital energy. When evening arrives, what remains? Exhaustion, disappointment, a hollow feeling that defies explanation, though I can clarify its source. You remain excessively accessible to those who merit not even a moment of your contemplative silence. This message isn't advocating for complete social isolation. Rather, it concerns choosing your own well-being. It involves mastering what Jung termed individuation, the journey toward wholeness, authenticity, and completeness. This transformation commences when you grasp that quietude possesses greater strength than countless debates. Strategic withdrawal, when rooted in conscious awareness rather than fearful avoidance, represents a demonstration of personal power. I pose this question to you directly, meeting your gaze. For how much longer will you permit others' emotions to dictate your responses? How much longer will you perform like a marionette whenever someone touches your vulnerable spots? From your earliest years, you learned the unspoken rules. Remain within reach, answer swiftly, accommodate others, agree even when every fiber of your being resisted. Your upbringing instilled the belief that your value stemmed from your constant accessibility to those around you. Yet here stands a reality that may never have been articulated so directly before you. This relentless accessibility isn't noble, it's a cage. So long as you maintain the belief that perpetual availability, emotional or otherwise, defines your worth, you will find yourself exploited, depleted, and discarded the moment your usefulness expires. The reason? Constant availability breeds the appearance of reliability taken to an extreme. When something becomes entirely predictable, it transforms into an instrument. Others begin treating you like an emotional panic button, pressed during moments of need for comfort, acknowledgement, or distraction, then set aside until the next crisis emerges. This pattern escapes your notice because you're caught in the fantasy that your presence for others guarantees their presence for you. Reality operates differently. Carl Jung explored the concept of the persona, the facade we construct to gain acceptance, affection, and recognition. This very facade drives your compulsive availability. You declare no problem while drowning internally. Messages receive instant responses despite your exhaustion. You rationalize, apologize, and defend as though the world holds a debt over you. The reality remains that positioning yourself at the heart of others' narratives causes you to vanish from your own story. Perpetual availability represents a subtle betrayal of self, a masked pursuit of approval, an escape from rejection, an attempt to manipulate how others perceive you. Yet this manipulation demands payment, and that payment is your tranquility. Your life force gets dispersed as though it were boundless, when truthfully it remains finite, severely constrained. Those demanding your constant presence don't actually desire you. They crave what you supply: affirmation, companionship, diversion, emotional shelter. When transformation occurs, when boundaries emerge, when you decline to respond automatically, these individuals become frustrated, blame you, label you as strange. Their reaction isn't about your evolution, it's about your failure to serve their purposes anymore. Here lies the most brutal truth. The more accessible you become, the less others appreciate you. Abundance transforms into emotional debris. Respect never accompanies what requires no effort to obtain. Value never attaches to what remains perpetually present. Therefore, pause and consider. Who genuinely merits your moments? Who warrants your focus? Your company? Your ear? Or perhaps more importantly, who deserves your withdrawal? Before addressing these questions, however, one fundamental principle requires understanding. What drives our compulsive responses? What makes us surrender our composure so readily? What fuels this seemingly involuntary urge to defend, explain, and accommodate others at our own expense? The key can be found in Carl Jung's concept of psychic energy, which forms the foundation of our discussion ahead. Your mental energy represents your most precious resource, and failing to safeguard it means others will exploit it to your detriment. Jung refused to view the human mind as a mechanical device that simply responds to external triggers without consequence. He understood our consciousness as an energetic framework, where each thought, feeling, and behavior depletes a portion of our vital force. The crucial question becomes, do you consciously direct where your energy flows, or do you allow external circumstances to make that choice for you? Each impulsive reaction represents a squandering of your psychological resources. Whenever you justify yourself against criticism that merited no acknowledgement, whenever you answer provocations merely to demonstrate your correctness, whenever you participate in pointless arguments, whenever you attempt to satisfy those who show you no appreciation, you're investing your core vitality in endeavors that offer no nourishment. Jung's wisdom was unmistakable. What you oppose gains strength through your opposition. Each reaction creates deeper entanglement. Those who exist in emotional depletion aren't lacking in strength, they're simply misguided in their focus. What becomes of individuals who live in constant exhaustion? They transform into targets. Vulnerability makes you accessible prey. Those with manipulative tendencies, opportunistic natures, and emotional dependencies can detect this weakness immediately. These predatory individuals recognize your inability to protect your energetic boundaries. Notice your tendency to respond to every stimulus. Observe your compulsion to fix everything around you, and they capitalize on these patterns. Jung taught that psychological health requires maintaining energy within your personal system. This involves learning to decline requests without shame, mastering silence without feeling cowardice, and developing the skill of observation before reaction. Genuine strength doesn't manifest through reactive responses. Authentic power emerges from deliberately choosing when and how to engage. Such discernment only develops through sufficient self-knowledge to identify your automatic patterns. How often have you sacrificed rest over unfinished conflicts? How frequently have you wasted hours obsessing over words you didn't speak or analyzing someone's poor treatment of you? This represents energy hemorrhaging without any beneficial return. You breathe life into phantoms that ought to have perished ages past, nourishing patterns that persist solely through your continued engagement. Mental energy functions as an invisible shield. When properly protected, it generates authority. You walk into a space and earn reverence without uttering a single syllable. Yet when mishandled, you fade into obscurity, becoming reactive and vulnerable. The universe shows no compassion for those who surrender without resistance. Begin studying your own emotional triggers, therefore. Which situations provoke instant reactions? What circumstances cause you to lose equilibrium? These precise vulnerabilities represent where your power bleeds away, demanding your focused attention. The goal isn't becoming emotionally frozen or detached, but rather learning discrimination, claiming mastery over your inner landscape. Here emerges Jung's most profound insight. Through energy conservation, you shatter the false images others cast upon you. This creates profound discomfort, significant discomfort. We now venture into shadowy terrain, the realm of covert manipulation. In what follows, we'll examine how predatory individuals consume your vitality and why your strategic withdrawal completely neutralizes their tactics. Prepare yourself to confront those who have systematically depleted you while remaining undetected. You imagine yourself as the master of your responses. You assume your emotional reactions stem from deliberate decisions. The reality proves more sinister. Your emotional patterns operate through conditioning. Those who grasp this truth exploit you effortlessly. Predatory individuals require no volume, intimidation, or coercive tactics. They simply activate the vulnerabilities you've left unprotected, guaranteeing your predictable response. Jung labeled this phenomenon projection, the mental process whereby individuals cast onto others what remains hidden within themselves. Yet this dynamic contains another dimension that escapes most people's awareness. As others project their material onto you, you simultaneously become the vessel for these distorted images. Your emotional accessibility transforms you into an empty surface awaiting these projections. Consider that acquaintance who contacts you exclusively during personal disasters. That romantic partner who consistently requires your rescue. That individual who flatters you, but only while you serve their purposes. These patterns emerge through design, not coincidence. Their connection isn't with your authentic self. They engage with their conception of you, with the character you consent to embody. What drives this consent? Terror of causing disappointment, fear of losing affection, dread of abandonment. The most potent manipulation operates without raised voices. It thrives in guilt's hushed undertones. The moment you sense obligation toward another, when you accept the burden of constant availability, perpetual assistance, endless understanding, regardless of your internal devastation, here lies the essential truth. Those who manipulate don't require dominance over you. All they demand is your predictable responses. Yet the moment you cease responding, their entire system collapses. The instant you begin refusing, meeting words with quiet, retreating rather than justifying your actions, their constructed illusions start dissolving. The false identity they've crafted for you disintegrates, leaving others disturbed, for they've lost their understanding of your nature, and more troubling still, they must now examine their own reflection, a confrontation many aren't ready to face. Your absence becomes dangerous, as it compels them to acknowledge their inner void. The quiet you provide exposes the mental chaos they desperately avoid. Then arrives the assault, the judgment, the theatrical outbursts, not from any fault of yours, but because you've ceased functioning as their comfortable reflection. Jung observed that enlightenment doesn't come from visualizing bright beings, but from bringing our darkness into awareness. As you retreat, as you refuse to perpetuate the pattern, their hidden nature starts surfacing. This becomes intolerable for those who've consistently used you as their refuge. But what of your situation? Can you handle the unease of being misinterpreted, dismissed, or even assaulted for safeguarding yourself? Can you withstand the quiet that follows the break? For it's exactly within that quiet that a different form of strength emerges. This is our focus moving forward. In what follows, you'll discover why quiet can become the most powerful force within human psychology, and how it fundamentally transforms the relationship between yourself and everything around you. Our contemporary existence overflows with noise. Everyone seeks attention, demands immediate responses, craves victory in meaningless arguments, and validation of their perspectives, regardless of the cost to their inner tranquility. Yet there exists a force that few recognize, and even fewer can wield: the force of quiet. Not the quiet born of submission or fear, but deliberate, calculated, devastatingly clear quiet. The type of quiet that isn't emptiness, but concentrated being. Carl Jung understood silence as more than mere emptiness. He recognized it as a sanctuary where inner growth flourishes. The moment you cease your habitual responses, awareness awakens. Through this heightened awareness, you discover recurring themes that once remained hidden: emotional loops, power dynamics, and patterns of self-destruction. Within quietude lies clarity. Such clarity threatens those whose existence depends on maintaining dominance over you. Perhaps you've witnessed how certain individuals become agitated when met with your non-response, when your explanations cease to flow, when you simply vanish from their sphere. Their distress stems not from genuine longing for your presence. Rather, your wordlessness strips them of their ability to direct the story. As long as you engage verbally, you remain a participant in their drama. Yet silence transforms the entire framework. This shift destabilizes anyone who feeds on your emotional output. Authentic quietude transcends mere speechlessness. It represents command over your personal force. It embodies the rejection of being pulled into another's emotional turbulence. It stands as a deliberate decision to avoid conflicts that serve no meaningful purpose. Jung believed that individuation, the journey toward authentic selfhood, demands such withdrawal, for only in stillness can you hear your inner voice above external chaos. Yet beware of misconceptions. Quietude carries consequences. It will create distance from those who valued you solely for the function you served. It will render you mysterious to individuals who perceived you only through their own mental constructs. It will brand you as aloof, unreachable, or prideful. However, these reactions emerge from people who preferred your surface usefulness over your profound essence. Here lies the uncomfortable reality. As wisdom deepens, your verbal choices become increasingly deliberate. You recognize that every utterance represents an expenditure of personal energy. Not everyone merits access to your authentic perspective. At times, quietude represents neither withdrawal nor defeat. It embodies personal authority. It serves as the dialect of those who have transcended the need for external validation. Silence creates unease because it compels others to confront their own mental chatter, their internal chaos, and this discomfort exposes their character more effectively than any debate you might offer. Your withdrawal requires no justification. Its meaning becomes clear on its own, and those who find it unsettling expose just how deeply they relied on your chaos to sustain their dominance. Yet the most transformative quiet isn't one that unsettles others. It's the stillness that rebuilds you from your core, the quiet that links you to something greater than seeking validation from the outside world. Within this inner sanctuary, liberated from external expectations, you start to reclaim your life force, to rediscover your authentic self. This becomes our focus in what follows. Simply eliminating outside distractions isn't sufficient. You must master the art of directing your energy with intention, deciding its destination, its dwelling places, and crucially, where it must never be squandered. The moment has arrived to become discerning with your spirit. Understanding these concepts mentally serves no purpose if you persistently accept when you wish to decline, answer communications that irritate you, engage in meaningless dialogues, and sustain connections that persist purely through habit. Knowledge without implementation becomes merely another mask for fooling yourself. Genuine change emerges when you resolve definitively to exercise discernment. This demands emotional strength. Strategic withdrawal isn't about becoming distant, superior, or detached. It concerns refusing to remain reachable to everyone, constantly, for every purpose. It involves claiming authority over your energy, your moments, your tranquility. This begins through minor choices: delaying your responses, pausing before you react, exiting conversations before being pulled into turmoil, silencing your device without remorse, declaring another time, declaring this doesn't appeal to me, declaring I won't participate. Yet here lies the crucial element. Your withdrawal needs no defense. Your quiet requires no explanation. You owe accountability to no one except yourself. This stance becomes utterly intolerable to countless individuals. The moment you cease offering justifications for your choices, you strip others of their ability to confine you within their emotional framework, one where you perpetually serve as the accommodating, empathetic, and perpetually available figure. Carl Jung recognized that genuine individuation requires periods of solitude. Yet this isn't the crushing solitude of despair. It represents a hallowed withdrawal. During these moments of inner sanctuary, you rediscover how to hear your authentic voice without external contamination. Here, you reconstruct your sense of self, not through others' perceptions, but from your deepest core. Seeking a reliable measure of your personal growth? Notice which individuals begin withdrawing when you embrace greater discretion. Watch for those who attempt to bait you once you cease responding to provocations. Pay attention to whoever condemns you for transformation when you finally establish boundaries. These reactions don't indicate your mistakes. They confirm your liberation has commenced. Becoming inaccessible initially feels deeply unsettling. Guilt will consume you. Self-accusations of selfishness will arise. Criticism about excessive severity will reach your ears. Yet this discomfort forms an essential element of the dismantling process. Your entire existence has been shaped by conditioning that places your needs last. Naturally, transformation generates unease, not merely within yourself, but throughout everyone who prospered from your previous incarnation. Deliberate inaccessibility serves as the cornerstone of personal sovereignty. Rejecting the world's demands means embracing your own truth. Extracting yourself from poisonous situations declares that your tranquility surpasses any superficial bond. The moment you abandon self-justification, genuine respect emerges, though perhaps from fewer people. However, not everyone possesses readiness for such authentic presence. Your emotional withdrawal will illuminate injuries they refuse to acknowledge. It will demonstrate their dependence on your internal turmoil to maintain their sense of dominance. This creates the inevitable breaking point. Along with separation comes anguish, isolation, alienation, and the sensation of loss. Yet you're actually achieving liberation. What follows this phase? What emerges beyond the distancing? What springs forth from the stillness? In our concluding section, we'll explore this renaissance, one that materializes only when you possess the bravery to be misunderstood, to embrace solitude, and to achieve wholeness independently. The moment has arrived to comprehend why the isolation experienced by the resilient becomes the gateway to authentic liberation. The moment you withdraw from constant accessibility, a transformation begins to unfold. Initially, you're met with an unsettling quiet, a void that echoes with doubt and uncertainty. Questions flood your mind. Have I made an error in judgment? Am I being unreasonably distant? Will those who cared for me drift away forever? Yet slowly, this emptiness evolves into something entirely different. The quiet becomes purifying, soothing, restorative. Then emerges a deeper state, not the loneliness of abandonment, but the powerful solitude of complete self-awareness. This is the isolation of the resilient, of someone who refuses to sacrifice their authentic self for the sake of maintaining connections. Within this sacred space, where chaos once reigned, mental clarity begins to dawn. Where worry previously dominated, tranquility takes root. Where desperation once lived, a different form of power emerges, the power of inner completeness. Carl Jung observed that the journey of individuation, of becoming your authentic self, demands separation from the masses. It requires shedding the personas we wear and walking your path in solitude for a time. This is precisely the process you engage in when you choose unavailability. You're not escaping from life, you're journeying back to your core self. At this juncture, you transform from someone who merely responds to life into someone who actively creates it. Rather than being molded by external forces, you begin crafting your existence from your inner wisdom. Those who feel disturbed by your withdrawal expose a truth. They never truly valued you as a person. They cherish the function you served in their lives. Now that you've stepped away from that role, they're left bewildered. This realization brings profound liberation. Relationships will be lost, but self-discovery awaits. Physical spaces will be abandoned, but connection to your true nature will be restored. Others may find you incomprehensible, but genuine respect will finally emerge. Your scarcity creates worth. Your unavailability breeds value. Your rarity makes you unforgettable. Make no mistake, this represents a complete rebirth, a fresh start, the dawn of an existence where you no longer settle for emotional scraps, psychological manipulation, or emptiness masquerading as love. From this point forward, you embrace only what aligns with your inner harmony, your authentic truth, your complete self. If you've reached this understanding, part of your soul has already prepared for this transformative journey. Something within you has grasped that receiving love is meaningless if it requires self-betrayal. Genuine self-love commences when you prioritize yourself, even if it means enduring temporary isolation. So, if this message resonates with your spirit, I invite you to join our community and support this shared journey of self-discovery.